So now I'm going to just add a little line here, because all I can see is a line, stamped line from the Tattered Rose ink, which I don't need to be there. So I'm just going to cover it up a little bit like so. And now I will attempt to cover up this line just by adding this white and make it pop a bit more. You can do it on both sides if needs to be, like that. And then I actually want to change up this red. I think it's a bit too much, but of course it'll be a bit of a problem now. So what I may do is find a Posca, which is a similar color, and add that to her lips. So for now, I think what I'm going to just do is add a bit of this chartreuse colored pencil, just as a bit of a detail, a bit of an accent, and I think I will leave it at that. I quite like it. There's nothing else that needs to be brought up. I will add some gold when the watercolor is completely dried, however. And what else? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and look for that Posca pen to change up her lip color. Alright, so I've got two colors here. I've got fuchsia and I've got red wine. So I'll bring out my swatch book right here and do a bit of swatching. So there's one color, which actually works quite nice. And then there is this one, which is a bit dull. So I'll go with the first one, which was the fuchsia. And I'll try to make sure that there's enough color here. Okay, and so that can draw on glass, on metal, on anything, so it will draw on your pencils. If your pencils come to the point where there is like no rescue, you can't layer anything else on top of them because you burnish them. That's generally how I like to use pencils. Then a bit of Posca on top will rescue the situation. Or even some acrylic paint as well. So this is much, much better. And I'll write down actually the name of this one as well. Just swatch it here on the side. Let's do the swatches together actually. I think you would enjoy watching them. So I start with where we actually started here, and that would be the skirt part of the illustration. And then I added some of this grey pencil, Payne's Grey, which is here. Then I added some of this blue and red. This red and blue, they pop very nicely next to each other. And then we have the gold. And that is our skirt. Now, when we moved on to this part, it was still those colors, plus it was this one here. And then we also have the skin tone, which has gone a lot pinker than the actual color here. And then we had the Posca pen for the lip. And then we had burnt sienna for the eyebrows. Then I don't remember really. I think it was russet for the eyes. Bit of russet, or possibly, oh, maybe it was nature russet, maybe this one actually. Yeah, this one, and then I had the light sienna on the eyes. Then we also had this color here for the eyes. Sepia 10%. Also had the dark indigo. And then we had, what else did we have? So we had the Shinhan, we had the chartreuse, and the blonde hair, right? I think that is it. So just basically pop a couple of colors up here. The chartreuse. And then a bit of this Shinhan watercolor. And finally, Schmincke. Oh, and the color for the hair, just almost forgot. I'll add that as well. I'll try to lift some. You really don't need that much to see the color of it. All right, how are we doing? Are you still there? Are you still with me? Okay, final one. It's this one. This was her hair. Okay, so this is our color palette. Now I'm going to wait for it all to dry. Actually remove some of this very thick paint here. And do a bit of sculpting on her face, and I think we should be done. Okay, so to finish, I will basically work on her face a little bit, because it just kind of looks a bit unfinished. We have all this beautiful detail here and a little bit unfinished face there. So to do that, I usually use this trio, which is light sienna, Mars orange, and terracotta from the drawing pencils, and I tend to start with a sharp point like so. There we go. And with the lightest color, or actually the middle color, so the middle color, and just kind of go over the side of her face, and mostly I do it at the temples. So if for some reason you don't have a perfect line there, then this helps to sharpen things up and just bring them out. So then I start pulling this color out a little bit with less pressure, and then I use the lightest color to just blend through and pull it towards the face, or the center of the face. And as you can see, it's starting to give her a little more shape. Oh. And then lighter pressure. So just like that. Sometimes I go underneath her fringe and do the same thing. Again, just to create a bit more contrast. And you just need a really thin line and then just blend it out again with this lighter color. And on the nose, sometimes I like to connect it and just literally leave it at that. And her neck needs some work, so I'm just going to add a bit of darker color just here underneath and pull it out down. So just adding some more definition on the side of the neck. And then a little bit on her body. Just like that. And what else? Let's see. Her beauty spot. We can highlight that a little bit more. I would honestly leave it at that. I think maybe just create like an oval for the nose, and again just leave it. Her earlobes, maybe if you want to highlight that a little bit at the bottom. And then, you know, if you wanted to around the eyes, you could do a bit more work. You could blend things out a little bit more if you felt that they weren't blended, but it depends. If you still have the energy to do that, you can carry on. I think I will just connect this line to the eyebrow and nose like so. And then just use the same color just to add a bit more definition on each side of the nose. Okay, I think I will leave it at that. So here is our little girl. I hope you enjoyed it. And we changed the color palette slightly. She's still cute, quite different from this one. This one is very modern, very contemporary, and then we have, you know, something more detailed with loads of color. And let's see, what do you think? Side by side. So a total inspiration. This is not to reflect the actual illustration, but to be inspired by patterns and colors, and even, you know, change them around. You can see this is still very comprehensive, but as you can see, this is still very comparable, but it's just your own thing. So I hope you found it somewhat useful, and thanks for watching, and see you soon.